We have a guest, a live guest in studio number 2.
Yes.
It's always better than a dead guest, but we got a live guest today. So what's cooking in our or segment number 2 today?
So today we have Chris Meter from Mission 94 Firearm Education Center, which is in Kenosha, a new education and training center for firearm enthusiasts in the southeastern Wisconsin area, but also just kind of a regional facility that's state-of-the-art. Their grand opening is next week. So he's going to give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what that's all about and just everything that they have to offer and what to expect when you go there.
Sorry, Wags, but Eric and I did have a sneak peek. I have not seen it since it was completed. I went in July when they were in construction. It was summertime. I remember that.
Was it?
And they gave us a tour.
I thought I went in February when it was like
maybe
nothing was done.
When I was there, because the range, I went to a second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't on the first because you and Shanna, I think, went on the first one, right? And I missed it. Maybe it was March. Maybe it was March when I went. Yeah, maybe it was March.
I look forward to talking to him and seeing what he's got because I just find it so interesting talking to people that are more knowledgeable than me, which is pretty much anybody I run into on the street. But I look forward to it.
You know, I always feel a little bad because I'm really bad about firearms. Like, if you give me a bow, I could do a lot of things with it. I could set up a site and all those
you
things.
You say I'm really bad about firearms.
I don't, like, somebody says, like, oh, it's a 308. I'm like, well, sure, I know that if that's the gun, I put it in there.
Not bad with,
no,
bad about. Okay.
Do I shoot ducks with that?
Like, I can safely load and properly
Dude's got a scope in the blind. Why?
Yeah, what is he doing over there? But, like, when you talk to a real gun enthusiast, I'm like, cross-eyed because I don't even really get it for the most part. So it's cool to hear people who are very knowledgeable talk about it.
You know, the interesting thing about it is that all three of us grew up in a gun community, guns families, right? A lot of our education came from our dads,
right,
our grandfathers. And where did they get their gun knowledge from?
From their grandfathers.
From their fathers and their grandfathers. So it's a tradition thing as well. But what they're doing down there, I can't wait to get him in here. It's going to be fun. He's going to give us – and what they're doing is completely different than what others are as well. I love history. History was always my favorite class that I went to in school.
Yeah.
And that was a cool thing when I went and met them and got a tour. History plays – and again – history meaning the history of guns and weapons and that type of stuff plays a big factor in this training too, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah, he'll give us a rundown.
All right, so we'll quick check. Anybody have anything in the freezer yet or not?
No, but I've got a couple buddies that have shot some nice deer already. I forgot to send this picture to you guys, but in the Portage and Wausau area, nice buck went down Wednesday night, late Wednesday night. So that was when we got a little bit of a cold snap. But guys, I don't know if you feel it, but Tuesday's going to be like high 30s for an overnight. So Tuesday I will be out in the woods.
Really?
Oh yeah.
40 degrees I think is like the low. So I'm going to hunt on Tuesday.
So last weekend we did opening of the northern duck season, and today, this morning, is opening of the southern zone.
Okay.
So
get your quack on.
Transparency. You might want to edit this.
Do you want me to hit the delay?
You might cut this out. I will be hunting ducks this morning.
Okay. All right. After the show.
After the show. But yes, we do everything with guns and we do everything with outdoors, and it seems a deer and turkey.
Right.
But it is. We can't forget that the waterfowl season started. Last weekend was the northern opener, and this weekend will be the southern zone opener.
So the fishing season opened up in what? March? April here in Wisconsin?
31st?
Yeah, something like that.
I finally put a pole in the water this past Saturday. Yeah.
And what were you going for?
I was just fishing.
Yeah.
So then we fished over in, was it in Jefferson County? What is it? The Crawfish River? What is the one?
Yeah, that's right over there.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
He was fishing for bush light.
Yeah.
No, that's you. That's you. But lots of, and it was hot last Saturday.
Sure.
Lots of carp.
Oh,
yeah.
Lots of carp.
A lot of splashing on the top of the water.
We were down in the Astalon State Park.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's the crawfish that runs through there. I think.
It's right there.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But we were fishing over there. A lot of people were fishing that day.
So successful?
No. Well, I found some. I didn't know it, but I found some stumps.
Okay.
You know, I found some brush, that type of stuff with my lures.
Oh, with your lures,
Yeah.
not your props.
No,
Yeah.
nothing like that. No, I was. And listen, I didn't do any boat fishing. I went bank fishing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You went old school.
I went old school.
Nice.
You know, the only thing missing was a cane pole.
Yeah.
You know, and have one of those
Yeah.
bells on it. You know, when you put that heavy sinker, goes to the bottom, and then the bait floats up.
Then you can like doze off. You can take a
And
little nap.
no,
and then-
that's when you're doing your bush light act, Tim. Right there, right? Oh, is that for me? That bell ringing?
Yeah.
Is that for me? I got to go have that.
It's a little reminder that you got something in the water.
Hey, by the way, I'm not going to mention this. The brand. You notice what cap the old MLB guy is wearing today? We need some headgear for him.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, we need to change that tag, that logo. I mean, you're an endorsement now, man. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times
There's always eyes
this
watching
week
flags.
people here on the Game Herd. Hey, it's Paul Wagner here to talk to you about the hunting season. And if I'm hanging a buck or I'm driving my truck,
I haven't heard them yet.
I'm picking up.
man.
I'm picking up some bush light for the ride. And you know what? Congratulations, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys
the
did it.
camel
You guys
cans
did it.
are out.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, you guys.
So we're excited about that. There you go.
It's exciting though. I mean, it's that time of year where ducks are open now.
Yeah.
Goose is open. Obviously, it's been for a while. I mean, we start getting some of these cold weather streaks, and people are really going to be starting to get the itch for that. So,
Yeah, that was the thing with me on Saturday when I was fishing. I've got the poles in the tackle box all laid out in the garage. I've looked at them all summer long. my wife
finally-
goes, "Yeah, I want to go down to Astalon." I'm like, and what we did was that we started the morning by kayaking out on Rock Lake.
I was wondering that. Yeah.
And how many times this season when I was out kayaking, I'm in the boat, I'm in the water, and I'm like, why did I bring my pole?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you kayak, I mean, especially on Rock Lake, you know, you get that, the way they have it. I love Rock Lake. It's a beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
lake. And I was like, what am I doing? I forgot
Yeah.
it again. So when we got back, she wanted to go out to Astalon and go hiking. And I'm like, well, you do that. I got to get my pole in the water once.
Yeah.
And so I did that. It will probably be the only time I put it in the water, but nonetheless.
That's okay.
Hey, let's do this. When we come back, let's talk some guns. Should we?
Let's do it.
Mission 94 Firearms. It's a great facility. We're going to do that. We'll take a break. We'll come back.
And as we are so fortunate to have in the southeastern Wisconsin area, we have a new place that's opening up in Kenosha called Mission 94 Firearm Education Center. And it's not a gun range, it's an entire education facility. And I was fortunate enough to go down there for their media day earlier this week. And we've been talking about it for a while, but with their grand opening coming up in October, just next weekend, so a week from today, we would be excited to talk about this. But instead of us just kind of jabbering about it, we figured we'd bring in the range manager. Chris Meter is in the studio with us today. So, Chris, first of all, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's better when we don't have to fill the entire show. You know, I mean, we can kind of, talk the talk and all of that stuff. But when it comes to stuff like this, it's nice just to actually have a guest in and hear from an actual experienced professional. So, Chris, first of all, why don't you just give us a little bit of your background, and then we can kind of dive into everything that's Mission 94 and kind of what brought you to today, just a week out from your grand opening.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you again, and good morning. Very glad to be here today. So, a little bit about myself. Grew up in northern Illinois in the Crystal Lake area, and never really had much to do with firearms. Grew up in a family that never really had anything to do with firearms, but was always surrounded by veterans and especially the Vietnam veteran community growing up, and always just really looked up to those gentlemen and who they are and everything that they'd done in their lives. And I think that's kind of where the interest began. And then you couple that being, a young man in the 1990s, you couldn't avoid the Tom Clancy movies of the time. So Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, Hunt for Red October, and things like that. And so obviously there was a magnetism that came with a lot of the allure and the imagery that was of a lot of those movies, especially the Harrison Ford characters in those of the time. And so it turned into, the closer we can get to firearms, the better off. Started in Boy Scouts, as a lot of different people did, took the riflery merit badge. I was mentored by a retired Rockford police officer using Marlin 22 bolt-action rifles at Camp Loudon in Illinois, and Jerry Lindstrom was his name, wonderful man. And first day out, I couldn't hit the target at all, and then by the end of the week, I was lacing them in the size of a dime at 50 feet. And so that was kind of where the entire passion really started out. That blossomed into a career in the Marine Corps, and so did my time there. Thank you, gentlemen. It was absolutely a privilege to serve. I was with a assault amphibian unit. And because of my knowledge of firearms, I actually acted as a supplemental instructor for a lot of the people in my unit in dealing with belt-fed machine guns, shotguns, infrared laser targeting systems, heavy belt-fed arms, Mark 19 grenade launcher, M-Deuce 50 caliber machine gun, and then afterwards,
bazookas, tanks, anything that blows something up.
Yeah.
The bigger, the better.
So no experience at all to get you ready to be the range manager at
No,
Mission
none
94.
whatsoever. I learned everything from YouTube, as most of us do these days.
Oh, that's good. So we were there on earlier this week on Tuesday, and I've heard the spiel a couple different times, but this isn't something that just kind of happened overnight. This is like an 8-year mission, kind of.
9 years.
9-year mission.
9-year mission
to you guys opening the doors next week. Yep. So tell us about Mission 94.
Sure. Mission 94 is a groundbreaking new concept that we developed, like you said, over the last 9 years. And what it is, and like you alluded to earlier in the conversation, is Mission 94 is not a gun range. A gun range is a very traditional experience where you go, you utilize firearms. You may know a little bit, you may know not a lot, and then you walk out. Sometimes, to a lot of people, a gun range environment can be a little bit intimidating. But what Mission 94 is, it's a place of learning. It's an education center where people who have never held a firearm, never been around a firearm in their life can come to learn, or even people who are very experienced or use firearms in their day-to-day profession can even come learn more about firearms. And so what we really specialize in is education. That's who we are. It's a core component of what we do. So our primary focus is in historic arms, dating from the American Revolution all the way to arms that are being used in modern conflict right now, places like Eastern Europe as well as the Middle East and everything in between. So an example I like to use is at Mission 94, you can look at a course catalog very similar to a community college, and you can see the upcoming offerings that we're going to be having. So, for example, it could be the last 2 weekends of the month, we're going to offer American Arms of the European Theater, World War II, 1944, 1945. So that class would encompass things like the 1911A1 pistol, the M1 Garand rifle, the 1903 rifle, the Browning automatic rifle, and the 1919 machine gun. And so you would sign up for these classes online through the Mission94Firearms.com website. And then you would show up for class with other students, instructor-led training in a classroom environment. And in that classroom environment, you're going to learn about who the inventors of those arms were, what arms they replaced, how they were machined and developed, how they were fielded and tested by the military, and then ultimately, how did they perform when they were deployed to Europe, and what did the actual GIs think of them who used them? And on the final day of class, you and the rest of your students go into the live fire training area, and you actually get to operate, manipulate, fire those arms that you just learned about in those classes. So when you go back out into the world, you are now bringing with an experience that you not only have the book smarts of being in the classroom and knowing everything about the arms, their mechanics, their inventors, their deployments, and things like that, but also you can say, I've actually fired that arm. And that's really the specialized training and offering that we do that is very unusual and unique.
Yeah, that's and so when you guys get a chance to go down there and you see it actually set up now that everything, not remodeling, but the building process and everything is done, they have this beautiful like quadruple window glass case where they display a bunch of these firearms that they brought in. And you get to see some of those right away. So it's cool. And it's different. Like you said, a big focus is education. So the whole main floor of the building, part of it is their retail space, but the majority of the main floor is an education center, their classroom. So it's like a double classroom.
So gun range isn't doing it justice. This is almost a class.
That's right.
So just going off of that real basically, yes, I can learn the information, the history of a certain weapon. Do you also provide classes on how to simple as cleaning and maintenance of guns?
It's an excellent question.
You do, how to handle a gun that we're going to use every other day, not what they used in World War II, but can you show me how to clean the weapons that I use currently today?
So you're absolutely correct. So we are an official partner of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, which is also based out of Wisconsin. Very proud to be partners with them. And we're going to be offering all of their course offerings, which is going to be things like basic introduction to firearm ownership, modern sporting rifle, concealed carry, how to safely store firearms, keep them out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them. And also there's going to be things encompassed in there that may not be firearm centric, like stop the bleed, basic first aid, and offerings like that. So yeah, our modern offerings, things that are more practical to today's applications, like you said, of concealed carry, those are definitely going to be offered as well.
So a balance, a fair balance of it. So a history lesson, and then a hands-on to benefit you today.
That's correct.
Perfect.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say, Eric, I think you need to take the Stop the Bleed course, because of my muskie.
Oh, yeah.
Expedition.
Couldn't think it was only a muskie.
Right, yeah.
Not a 300 short mag.
So what is, you can have parties there, you can do your educational courses there. What is it that somebody can expect when they come to Mission 94 in order to, kind of like mentally prepare them? Like you had said, people think about a gun range and it can be an intimidating thing. But what's your goal or what's your hope when people walk in the door that they can expect from an experience?
Absolutely. Once you walk in the door of Mission 94, you're going to take a look, like you said, our display cases that we have on the left, and you are going to realize immediately that this is not your typical, facility, gun range, gun retailer, things like that this is a place of learning and a place of education. You are also going to notice as soon as you walk in the door, the retail section as well. What Mission 94 specializes in is not so much things that are hunting arms or antique arms that are sold within our retail space, but more modern, very high-end firearms that you would not find in a big box retailer. So a lot of really high-end names like Staccato are going to be available at Mission 94, as well as, some of the more common names, Heckler & Koch, Sig Sauer, Glock, and brands of that nature. So that's what you're going to see when you first walk in, but you're also going to tell this is a lot more of a very well-lit, very open, welcoming building once you get in the door.
Yeah, it's beautiful and bright. I mean, it's amazing.
Gosh, I look forward to it. So now with your knowledge and your background, now you go into this after a 9-year prepare. You were preparing for 9 years for this. Now this grand opening comes about and you've seen it from the ground up. What is your favorite, like with your knowledge and everything that you know, what's the one thing that's maybe your baby? What's the one feature that you really, really like about Mission 94?
It's a fantastic question, and I appreciate it. So the legacy that I have always wanted to leave behind is to take, individuals who may have never held a firearm or they're somewhat intimidated by a firearm, and they want to learn. They want to learn. They want to better educate themselves beyond what they've seen on television or what they've read on social media. And to have those new people come in and everything and be able to speak with them, understand their concerns, and listen, to the knowledge that they want to have, and to actually teach those people. Yeah. This is what a firearm is. This is actually how it operates. This is the realities of what firearms actually are, and to take them into our live fire training area. And the moment that I live for is the first time that they pull the trigger. Because a lot of times the student, the customer, they'll be holding the pistol like they're holding a bag of cobras in front of them. And, and terrified. They can't breathe. They got their eyes closed. Their faces are tense. And, you sit there and in a calm voice, you remind them, just breathe. This is a tool like any other tool. And they'll pull the trigger. And I say about 70% of the time, this smile just blossoms, and they look at you and they just go, that's what this is.
They realize that the projectile is going forward.
Exactly.
They don't have to worry about it
And a lot
anymore.
of my students, they do come in and they feel that, the first time they pull the trigger on a firearm, that there's going to be this subatomic explosion, that they're used to seeing on television and media. And then when they actually do and they hit the target, and they stand there and they just cannot believe that they did that. It's an incredible, that's my biggest amazing moment of Mission 94.
And that's awesome, because if you really think about other places and the range manager, what is he doing? He's watching the clock. You got a half hour to shoot, and don't forget to pick up your brass. Clean it up. Now you're actually, those things we have to do, but now you can help them. You can ease them. You can make them feel comfortable with the weapon. Let them understand what it can do and what can actually happen after you fire that pistol.
It's all about respect.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. I think one of the things that I noticed personally that I thought was really cool was, of course, it's a new facility, but it's also very state-of-the-art. Mm-hmm. So when we were to talk about the ranges a little bit, there's a 25-yard range, there's a 50-yard range.
Correct.
But the technology that comes with those is also something that you really just need to be there in order to experience. There's small screens there where you can actually track kind of history of where shot placements were. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure, yes. Mission 94 uses the latest state-of-the-art equipment manufactured by a company called Range Systems out of Minnesota. And so all of our equipment is digitally programmed. So there's a touch screen that you walk into your lane. You can program either feet, meters, or yards, send your target out to predetermined distances, or you can even utilize some of our target's more advanced features where it can rotate, it can turn, it can go in all kinds of different directions, back and forth. There's strobe lighting effects to simulate that it is an offender who is actually violently engaging you in an encounter and you have to fire back. There's lots of different programs like that, but I believe the screen you're talking about is actually a system called X-Shot. And X-Shot is a system where, say, you run your target out 25 yards, and then there's a camera that zooms into your target, and you can actually look at where your impacts register on that target, even with 22 long rifle. So you're not wasting the time of moving your target back and forth, trying to achieve a zero. All you have to do is look at that tablet screen, see what your shot placement is, make your windage and elevation adjustments, and then you just go from there. It's an incredibly technological experience that not any other facility in the region that I am aware of has this technology.
Yeah, it's nice. So I think me and Wags are probably thinking the same thing. We probably need more training on just the digital components of the range than we would to try and actually fire our firearms.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
And the conceal and carry part is exciting too. And I know we're short on this segment, but real quick, it's sort of like I put this towards baseball. Anybody can throw a pitch. It's where do you put your mind when the crowd is going loud and I have to throw it over the plate? Now you have to focus mentally. It's easy. I shouldn't say easy, but it's something that I can figure out when I shoot at a range. Boom, boom, boom. But what happens if there really is an intruder? How is your blood? What's your heart doing? You've got to be prepared for that. How do you, and if you can explain after the break, do you have some sort of, or is there something there where you can elevate heart rate and we can put you in a real situation? It's hard. I know you can't do it. Like someone will say, how do I throw a pitch? I can't tell you what it's like to throw a pitch between the white lines and 40,000 people yelling at you. You have to do it. How can we prepare somebody in a self-defense mode to protect themselves at that late hour? Someone breaks a window, comes into your house, and how do you keep your composure to be able to fire even at 10 feet and still hit somebody?
Wags, you explained it perfectly. It is, there are a lot of similarities between sports and things like this. And, yes, you can never truly understand the pressure, the anxiety, the fear that comes with that situation until you were confronted with it. And it's, I'm sure it's the same thing with, hitting a fastball. It's got to be, Speed is important. Accuracy is final. You can swing the bat as fast as you want, but it's the accuracy is the one thing that matters. So what we will do with you at Mission 94 is you train for subjects like concealed carry or to deal with a home invasion, a violent home invasion, is how to collect yourself in the most composed way, provide you with the best equipment that you can use for that encounter. We primarily teach de-escalation. The main thing is with all concealed carriers is that pulling the trigger is the final resort. No true concealed carrier who is educated and trained walks out of the house that day and says, you know, if anybody does anything, this is going to be it. No, it's all about de-escalation. But if you do get to that point where you cannot de-escalate, you have tried every measure possible, you fear for your life, your family's life, the lives of others around you, and it is time to come to that moment, we are going to provide you with the absolute best training that you can have. But like you said, those situations you can never train perfectly for. It's once that moment that, using the metaphor, you're up to the plate. It's time to swing or not swing, and you have a decision to make.
Because I just do, with your military background and stuff like that, I'm very fortunate. Thank you very much for your service. I never did that. I don't know. But I know that's got to be a training thing. You've got to almost eliminate thoughts and just handle the task at hand. If it gets to that point where that trigger needs to be pulled, I have to do it, and I can do it. And you can control your heart rate. You can control your emotions, where it's hard for the average person.
It's one of the beauties of the United States Marine Corps, and I can't really speak to the other branches, unfortunately, but you are instilled in the Marine Corps that the lives of the person to the left and the right of you are depending on what you do. And so you are mutually counting on each other. It's not so much that you're afraid that you're going to fail yourself personally. You're afraid that you're going to fail your friends or you're going to fail your officers. And that fear of failing them is just something that kept people like myself, other Marines who have, been in extreme, way more extreme encounters than I was ever, and kept them going every day, and they persevered.
Yeah. So, well, I think just a lot of great information, right? Wags is ready to go down.
I
there
can
and
talk.
start sending some rounds, right?
Well, I can talk forever. He's hitting me on the leg. Hey, we gotta go. We gotta go. Oh, wait, one more. Well, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
So why don't we? So Chris, I think we went pretty long on that, so we might just end up doing one segment with you. If you could give us just some of your general information, how can people get a hold of you? Who do they ask for when they come to Mission 94? Some of that information before we go to break.
Sure. When you go to Mission 94, you're going to find us right off of I-94. We are at 1487 120th Avenue in Kenosha, which is the frontage road just to the east of I-94. You'll see all the flags of all the branches of the American military flying out in front of Mission 94. We're very easy to find. Walk in the door. Our very knowledgeable and friendly staff, mostly from the Kenosha area, will come up, greet you at the door. If you want to talk to me, just say, hey, I'm here to see Chris Meter, or and they'll direct you to myself or call me on the radio, and I'll come on up and be happy to show you around.
I told Wags this when you were walking Chris out during the break. And I said, I thought when I did my tour that they could shoot a .50 caliber in their range.
Yes.
And you came in and said, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, about the only thing they can't fire is a tank down the range, and that's
pretty
about
much,
it. Because
the
tank won't fit in there. That's why.
We can't get it in here.
And they have, and it's kind of amazing. I mean, you just really have to see it for yourself. But he was saying, 50 BMG is the biggest that you can fire that range will handle.
So what is BMG?
I don't know.
Okay, I just know it's big because it's 50. So
Right.
I thought like the 50
Big
BMG.
mother gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought the 50 was, I don't know what that caliber
I'm
is
terrible
that can
with
go
guns.
through like
Yeah.
bulletproof glass. Like there's
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm assuming you can't purchase that. But I thought like
Unless
50.
you know a guy.
I thought 50 was.
Hey, buddy.
I thought I thought 50 was the one that can go through bulletproof glass.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's cool to see stuff like that being built, because there are a lot of people who love firearms in the state, and that they want to be able to have an outlet like that, and it's nice. I mean, going in there and just knowing that, it's all state of the art and all the bells and whistles and all of that stuff, and they've got these huge ventilation machines that
it's crazy.
Air in the range is cleaner than the air out of the range, like outside.
When we were on our tour, I talked to Chris about in Vegas one time. My brother always wanted to shoot a Tommy gun. And so they have places in Vegas where you can shoot a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
And what they do is that they essentially give you a few minutes of training, and then you're on your own on a range, and you can let it rip, right?
Yeah.
What I told Chris is unique about this is that if you're into history, even if you're not a gun, buff, you want to find out more about it. I mean, I think that's what's cool about this. It's almost like, you learn so much about it, and then the payoff is, you get to shoot that gun.
Yeah.
And you know more about it, which I think is really unique, and it's cool they're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, and we didn't really touch on it, but they also have as we're coming into gun season, which is why I thought it was so topical for us to have Chris in this week. I know it's still a ways away, but it's hunting season and all those things. Say your scope gets knocked, they have a service there where you can just take it in. They have an armorer. They don't have a gunsmith. They have an armorer that can set up new scopes. If you need it replaced, if you need it sighted in, they'll do all of that for you. So, it's nice because they do have that 50-yard range, so you can use your long guns.
He mentioned you come in and, for lack of better terms, the pro shop is there.
Yeah.
What do they sell? Is it merch for Mission 94, like the shirts and hats that he had on, or is it for do certain is
Firearms
Vortex loophole?
Well.
You can.
Yep.
Okay.
Scopes.
Yep.
Okay.
Accessories, so like slings, cleaning
clips.
Equipment. Yeah, just
You know what?
It's
It's very similar to what a golf pro shop would have.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same
pro
thing.
shop.
Yeah.
I never get to the pro shop. I always take the right turn to the bar rather than the left to the pro shop.
What I'm just skipping right past that because that's what people expect out of you, Paul Wagner.
We don't have 19 holes here, so I'll play the 19th.
So he talked about that display case. Now, when I was there, it was, if I remember right, I don't think the glass was in, but I would love to see it now. Man, you know what, Wags? Let's you and I run down together. Yeah. I'd love to go see this now that it's completed. Yeah. Because when I saw it was still a construction. I mean, we took a tour, and there were some of the things that were done, but most of it was not. Gotcha. And so I would love to see the completed project now.
Yeah, of course I don't have a picture of that, but
just go to the
website. It's cool to be able to just see some of that stuff because it's like not ancient artifacts, but it's historical memorabilia that you can actually handle and learn about and do all of those things.
And maybe Wags, you know this better than I do. There's not a ton, but if you want to sight in your gun or go to a gun range, there's plenty of options, at least where we're at, to do that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, there's nothing like this.
Right.
There is nothing like this within the state of Wisconsin. I don't know if there's anything like this.
The most comparable one he said actually was in Vegas.
That's right. Yeah.
Because it's a new kind of concept having first and foremost the education side of it. Yeah, there's a range there, but that's not really their focus. It's available. People can use it. You can do everything you'd normally do at a range. But they push the education side of it more than anything.
And that's what's so important. You can go, like you just said, Tim, we can go anywhere and we can sight in our rifles. But there's no help there. Like I said when we were talking to Chris, the guy sits there with his watch. Okay, your half hour's up. Pick up your brass. Basically, now get the hell out of here. It's like, no, he'll help you. It sounds like education to telling you which way to go, how to do this, and how to calm you down. As he was speaking at one time when you have a handgun in your hand and you're ready to fire, to prepare yourself. What's the feel? How is it going to react? And stuff like that. There's communication, and I think communication, education is so very important with firearms. And I don't think the average, shooting range allows that. It's nothing. It's you go in here, go to your gun range, do your stuff, and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the training is really critical because even in your concealed carry classes, it doesn't really prepare you for the moment.
Right.
I mean, you can throw 1,000 pitches as you did in the minors, but when you step on that hill for the first time in Major League Baseball, I know it's still baseball. You've done this 1,000 times, but it's completely different, isn't it?
It really is.
The lights are brighter and the crowd is louder.
Yeah.
The grass is greener and everything is different. Same thing we were just talking when he used the analogy about hitting. You can take as much batting practice as you want. You can hit and hit, but all of a sudden now Now it's just you and the pitcher in front of 40,000 people. You've got to calm everything down. You've got to be mentally prepared for that. How do you do that? It's tough. A lot of guys can't do it. We've seen, and the baseball analogy, you've seen a lot of can't-miss prospects. Number one picks, greatest guy in the world. This guy's got everything. He's got the tools and everything because he can play in front of 1,500 fans down in Fort Myers, Florida. Mm-hmm. But now you put him down in, Chavez Ravine in L.A., facing the Dodgers, and Ohtani's, there's a little pucker going on right there.
Well, he's 51 and 51 now.
Yeah, it is tough, and you can't. And so for them to be able to try to put you in, as the Marines and as the military does, to put you in that situation, to calm yourself down, to be prepared for that is pretty a neat concept.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, though, is that when it comes to sports, eventually you tell yourself, and I'm sure you did, Wags, listen, it's just baseball. I've done this forever. The point I'm trying to make is that those who succeed are able to get over that hurdle, right?
Correct.
But they're not life and death situations.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you were talking to Chris about, intruder in your home, and you can take as much concealed carry as you want.
Correct.
You can study up as much as you want. But in that moment, for example, in our house, I've told you guys I bought my wife a handgun, and my wife and my son, my stepson is very active in the gun community, has several guns, hunts, that type of stuff. So he and his mom go out occasionally to the range, and she practices with her gun. I still keep a baseball bat underneath my side of the bed because I don't know if in that moment, if my wife, I love her to death, if she's able to find that gun, put in that clip, and go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like that. Just the whole story.
But I can swing. I can hit that.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I'll hit that.
I know my
fastball.
muskie bat underneath the bat is going to do just fine.
Right? Am I wrong in that?
No, you're not.
Exactly.
And that's all part of it. I thought that was cool, too, because they do a lot with police officers as well, like academy-style training for them. So, like strobe lights and things like that, to simulate those, like, high-pressure kind of.
Yeah,
something different. I think it would be fun to do as well.
My brother-in-law is a police officer in Florida, and he continually goes through training and has to be recertified. And he has been in a couple of situations where he's had to draw his weapon, and he's like, your adrenaline kicks in, and all your training takes over. Because you've practiced this 1,000 times for that moment. He said, does everybody succeed in that moment? Nope. But he said, really what happens with it is, it's just you don't even think about it. You're conditioned, this is what I have to do, and you have to go.
Times.
Yeah.
And like he said, everybody has a different threshold. What is your fear for yourself, the fear for your family, and the fear for your right and left side guys? Where is that drawing point for you? He said that the de-escalation is the main thing. We want to prevent. The last resort is to pull the trigger. But each of us are different. Where do we feel like the fear is to pull the trigger? The trigger may be pulled differently for me, you. We all have that different thing. But when you fear yourself and your family, where is your threshold? And that's what you have to figure out.
That's why you need to take the training, right, Eric? Let's pump that website one more time before we step out today.
Yep, it's easy to remember. Mission 94, the number 94, firearms.com.